And welcome back to the week of What If. Today's What If comes to us from Hell Shadow 22. Ask the question: what if Metal Sonic was in Dragon Ball Z? Now I've done this actually before with Sonic, and people ask me when Sonic, about why Sonic isn't as strong as he as the other Z fighters, all that. And I've explained it to a certain degree that his biology probably doesn't allow him to get to the point of power like some of the Saiyans are or anything like that. He'd still be a powerful individual, but just not compared to like later on in the series. But what if Metal Sonic were in the Dragon Ball universe? Now, to set this up, Metal Sonic, I imagine Jerome, let's just say the Sonic the Hedgehog itself doesn't actually exist in the Dragon Ball universe. Like Sonic himself, Knuckles, none of them Tails, they don't actually exist in the Sonic universe. But Jiro, let's just say as a kid, was a fan of those games. So when he made the androids, or Red Mario, that he wanted to actually make Metal Sonic, a being who, and for all intent and purposes, this is Metal Sonic. He has all the abilities. Who, when looking at something, can essentially copy the abilities and integrate it into his mainframe, into his. If you'll give me 1 second here, I want to actually make sure. That Metal Sonic, I have a decent handle on Metal Sonic's ability, because I know his abilities are basically, he's as fast, if not faster, than Sonic himself. But more importantly, Metal Sonic was made to copy Sonic's every ability, including his speed and power. On his own, Metal Sonic is able to go toe-to-toe with his template at both battle and fields. He was also credited with the strongest robot Eggman's ever made, being only second to E123 Omega and been called the world's most powerful robot. Shares Sonic's speed with the system. Metal Sonic's able to beat Sonic Acceleration, who can instantly accelerate the speed of sound and equal Sonic's speed. On a few occasions, Metal Sonic is even able to surpass the speed of Sonic, whose highest known speed is Mach 5. Even then, Metal Sonic can speed even further than this. By overloading his circuits, he's able to quadruple his speed for a limited time. Using certain techniques, he can achieve light speed momentarily. He's impressively durable, but that's not what I really want to get to. Okay, his arguably most impressive skill is the ability to replicate. There's the word. Replicate the abilities and skills of others, similar to Gridzoid, by scanning and copying others' being's life data, or data, depending on your pronunciation of the word, being either robots or organic creatures. Metal Sonic can immediately and flawlessly mimic other people's skills and abilities. And he demonstrates the ability to shape, shift, and change his form. With that said, I think where does Metal Sonic actually come into the picture here? Well, I think Metal Sonic actually doesn't show up until after the androids are already released. Like, Metal Sonic is the last fail step, because unlike the other two, unlike 18 and 17, he's probably the hardest to control once he gets going. So, because he probably obeys Jiro flawlessly at first, but once he starts, Jiro probably quickly realized once he started evolving and gathering data on other individuals, and he just kept growing in power, he became too hard to control. So Jiro put him on lockdown, and if he died and his plans failed with the androids, he'd be the last resort. He's probably not even kept in the actual area that the androids and Cell were kept in. He's probably kept in a secondary spot. So where do I think these guys are going to show up? Well, or Metal Sonic's going to show up. I actually think he'll show up after the Cell arc. When Cell's gone, and maybe a couple years after everything's good, Jiro's protocol, realizing that Cell has been destroyed, is activated. Because yes, the present Cell was destroyed, but because the Cell that we were dealing with was still there, Jiro probably has something to actually, register his actual vitals, that he's actually there. So with Cell actually finally gone, the protocol to boot up Metal Sonic is initiated. So when he finally boots up, his goal is destroy Son and Goku, destroy Z fighters, and he goes out into the world. Now, what happens exactly? Like, he goes to the locations that he knows Goku probably is at. And he finds the key that's closely most resembles Goku, which is Gohan. him and Gohan, meet up. It's like, what is it? And then I run into the androids? Oh, crap. So Gohan immediately goes to Super Saiyan. And, they clash. And initially, he moves too fast for even Supersonic to keep up with. So Supersonic's a bit on the defensive, more than a little bit on the defensive. He's very much on the defensive here. But eventually, Supersonic gets a good look at Gohan as Gohan's about to charge a ki blast and destroy him. Analyzing all his vitals, all of a sudden his power output immediately equals Gohan's. And, Kamehameha! It's like, what? His power just, what? And then basically he goes toe-to-toe with Gohan, except this time they're a completely equal match, except for the fact that he's made of a durable metal and Gohan is just flesh and bone. Durable flesh and bone, but flesh and bone. So now, and also scanning Gohan, his form changes to something a bit more akin to a fight, like something like an android. It's like a humanoid form that can fight a lot better than just these. So, they're duking out for more and more. Piccolo shows up, having sensed Gohan, struggling with attacks, and he's like, "Gohan, move! A special beam cannon!" and actually blasts and just comes right through Metal Sonic, because the more Piccolo charges the special beam cannon, the stronger it is. So he probably was charging. He probably got there, charged for a little bit, and told Gohan to move, and they just blast her. It's like, Piccolo, thank God you're here. Why didn't you go full power, God? I can't. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea, Piccolo. He seemed to be able. For when we first started fighting, I had him completely on the ropes. But after he took one look at me, and all of a sudden his power was almost the same as mine. I think it's almost the same as mine. He transformed. And Metal Sonic now looks at Piccolo and scans it, and then data acquired. And then all of a sudden, pause him in air. And all of a sudden, starts replicating and regrowing himself. Just. What was that? Did he just? He looked at you and he just and then they realized, did he copy your regeneration? He seems to be able to copy anything we throw at him. And all of a sudden, Metal Sonic transforms a bit more, again, a bit taller, a bit more sleeker and meaner in a fighting form. And all of a sudden, just Ma San Capo, and then just blasts him. And then boom, and Gohan immediately has to go Super Saiyan 2 just to block it. And then they charge again. Doubling in his powers, overwhelms Sonic. He's like, don't go on. I got him. I'm not going to let him. You can't let him look at you. And Piccolo's trying to hold him. And Vegeta at this point shows up too. He just kicks the android right in the head. Just, all right, what's the deal? I thought all the androids were taken care of. They weren't being. Who's this blue bastard? So, Vegeta, get out of here! What the hell, are you crazy? By the way, I do think Vegeta is actually stronger Super Saiyan than Krillin is. But not in terms of because Gohan had Super Saiyan 2 at that point, and we know Vegeta kept training and Gohan didn't. So I do think in base form Vegeta is stronger, but Metal Sonic comes and scans Vegeta real quick. It's like, Vegeta, no! He's able to scan our abilities and integrate him into his own body. And then it gets a little shorter but stockier, like Vegeta. Is that a fact? Let's go, droid! And they basically, now it's Vegeta and Metal Sonic duking out. And that's basically it. Most of the other Z-Fighters try to show up, but Piccolo actually sends out a message. Everyone, do not show up. Do not come and aid us. This android, it seems to be able to copy all of our abilities. And so, they're doing everything they can. Gohan immediately goes Super Saiyan 2 and charges one final blast. Like, Kame! And then, Shat and Metal looks at the blast. Now, he can't see Gohan through the blast, so he can't scan it, but he immediately blasts his own power. And it's not quite as strong as Gohan's, unfortunately, so it is being pushed back. But because he's able to overload himself, he's able to increase his power dramatically. He can actually quadruple his speed if he needs to. So I'm guessing that can extend to his overall power output as well. So, he starts to overload the circuits, and it's overwhelmed the Gohan now. Just, what is it? Overloading. And then just pushing Gohan back. Vegeta, all of a sudden hears Vegeta go, Final Flash! And then, blasts him with a final flash. It's like, and now, Special Beam Cannon! And they basically just have to tag team him or 3-on-1 him. And Metal Sonic can't deal with all of that at once, unfortunately, and he's just starting to waste away. And the regeneration that he could do can't happen because he's still being blasted this much. Objective, destroy, son, go off, no. And then finally he's just blasted. Face gone, there's like one eye looking at everyone, but before anything one can say is he actually dead, Vegeta just steps on a crush and say, "It's dead now. This is a waste of my time. I'm going." And then just flies off. And then say, "Oh, that was a trip, Gohan. That was a trip. Good to see that you haven't let up in your training." Well, I actually haven't been training recently. Go on. If there are still things out there like this thing, we need to be prepared just in case, no matter how much peace there is. And Gohan considers like, yeah, I guess you got a good point. So Gohan does keep up his training, which actually does lead us to a bit further into the what if, because Gohan keeps up his training. While he doesn't really get much stronger, he doesn't weaken. So we do still keep him at his cell game levels, which means he's still about the same level of strength that he was at. So when his energy gets absorbed for Boo, Boo gets a lot more energy that way, which ultimately means that Boo wakes up a lot sooner, honestly, probably even before a lot of the main part of the fight between Goku and Vegeta happens. Like the early parts of their fight are enough to really give Boo some energy. To which case, then, honestly, nothing else really changes at that point. But except for the fact that Gohan is just a little bit stronger. Still gets his shit kicked in by Boo when he tries to fight him, but yeah. But ultimately, yeah, that's what I think would happen if Metal Sonic were in Dragon Ball Z. I think that he would actually be a serious threat to anyone. Even like if we brought him into Dragon Ball Super, he'd be a monstrous threat. Hell, I could have made an argument that he could have been thrown into the Tournament of Power with what was it, Universe 3? They were the technological ones. You could have made an argument there. And that would have been, oh my god, you immediately would just copy everyone and been completely overpowered and just defeated. Now, that being said, though, how do you copy Beerus? Beerus could still probably just Hakai him because he is still just a machine, ultimately. Even though he would copy Destroyer Key, theoretically speaking. It's whether or not his circuitry and technology could be able to handle that. That's the question. But ultimately, that's what I think would happen if Metal Sonic were in Dragon Ball Z. He would have to be taken care of pretty quickly. Otherwise, he could theoretically overwhelm the entire universe. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I'll be back. Actually, I'm done for today, but I am going to record tomorrow's What If because I got a long day for work tomorrow. Till then, thanks for watching. See you later.